Umbrella Academy fans, look no further. We've collected the absolute best fan theories about the show. If you want to know who created the commission, the real reason for Vanya's breakdown, and where the other 36 siblings may be, take a look. Here are the Umbrella Academy theories that are so crazy they just might be true. Watch to the end to find out how Ben died.
But who killed him? Who did this?
I have a crazy idea. Crazy.
What do the numbers mean? Reddit is bubbling with questions and theories about the method Reginald used to number the children he acquired. Many fans assumed that Reginald just numbered the children in the order in which he acquired them, but what if there is more significance to the numbers? One Redditor pointed out that in the comics the numbers are shown as decimal points. This person thought that maybe the numbers were based on the time they were born, but weren't they all born simultaneously all over the world? Another theory is that the numbers are based on the usefulness, loyalty, and temperament of the children. It could also be a way to rank them in terms of how powerful they are. In that case, number 7 would be the most powerful and number 1 would be the least powerful. If you think about it, that kind of makes sense. Let's look at each character and rank their skills and powers to see if this adds up. First, we've got number 1, Luther. Luther is definitely the most loyal to his father out of the bunch. He tries to be a good leader, but usually falls short with his leadership skills. That might have something to do with the fact that he just spent 4 years on the moon. Luther has super strength and incredible durability, but he seems to be a bit lacking in the smarts and wisdom department, so it would make sense that Reginald would rank him as the least powerful sibling.
And last time checked, I'm still the leader of this family.
Number 2, Diego. Diego has amazing knife throwing and combat fighting skills. His dance moves are pretty sick too. Diego has the ability to throw any object with pinpoint accuracy. He can manipulate the objects he throws to make them curve in midair in order to hit their targets. That's a pretty useful skill. However, Diego has a major chip on his shoulder. He has trouble trusting anyone except for Detective Patch. He was likely a tough nut to crack growing up. So, Reginald ranked him as second least powerful.
Let's just say I didn't get a good look at their faces.
Number 3, Alison. Alison has a very interesting power. She has the ability to control a person's behavior by whispering, "I heard a rumor," followed by whatever action she wants them to take. While this is a pretty handy skill, it's not quite as impressive as speaking to the deceased or jumping through time. Alison has been a bit selfish in the past, it seems. She has abused her powers to turn herself into a famous actress. This must have caused some major trouble for her because her personal life is kind of a mess. We're dying to know if her daughter has powers too. Still, it seems Reginald ranked her as average when it comes to her powers and weaknesses.
We need the full force of the Academy to even stand a chance.
Number 4, Klaus. Klaus quickly became a fan favorite with his eccentric style and vulnerability, which is thinly veiled with a dry, witty sense of humor. But Klaus's power has caused some major addiction problems in his life. It's got to be hard to cope when you're being followed around by ghosts all day and night. Klaus is volatile and impulsive, which must have made him difficult to control. Still, there's no denying that he has an incredible gift. And from what we gather from the season finale, we are just beginning to scratch the surface of what he can do, now that he's sober. Still, Reginald saw fit to rank him at number 4.
Really awful, terrible, depressing times.
Number 5. It's unclear why 5 was never given a name. It seems that their robot mother, Grace, gave all the other siblings their names, so why didn't she give 5 a name? We suspect we will definitely find out more about that in the next season. 5's powers are incredibly powerful. He has the ability to jump through time and space, but he doesn't seem to have full control over this power. He got stuck in the post-apocalyptic future for a really long time. For some reason, he couldn't use his powers to go back in time from that point. He also appears to get tired quickly. When he was running from Hazel and Cha-Cha in the department store, he started losing his ability to jump to different spaces, the longer the chase went on. Still, it's clear that he has a very special gift, so he is number 5.
And just like that, yeah.
Number 6, Ben. Ben has the ability to shoot powerful, deadly tentacles from his chest to eliminate his enemies. But when he was a boy, he seemed very troubled by the destruction he was capable of with his power. It's clear that Ben died sometime in his young adult life, but we still don't know how. We can only see him through Klaus, who often sees and talks with his deceased brother. Ben must have been very powerful while he was alive. That has to be the reason Reginald ranked him so high if that was his method.
You know you talk in your sleep.
And finally, number 7, Vanya. Vanya's incredible telekinetic abilities make her the most powerful member of the Umbrella Academy. As a child, she was so powerful, Reginald locked her away and convinced her that she had no powers. He used Alison to convince her that she was just ordinary, nothing special, but all that isolation and alienation has given her some major psychological issues. She's got some work to do before she can safely use her powers again after that whole moon incident. After examining all the Umbrella Academy members, it stands to reason that Reginald did rank them from least to most powerful. But what do you think? The other siblings. In the story, 43 babies are born spontaneously on the same day to women who had not previously been pregnant. Reginald adopts 7 of those babies, but many people are asking what happened to the other 36 children. Did they perish in the apocalyptic explosion that Vanya caused? When showrunner Steve Blackman and comics author Gerard Way were asked if we would be seeing any of the other 36 siblings, they were quite secretive. They replied that while that was a really good question, they couldn't answer it. There is a scene toward the end of the first season that might have some clues about the 43 babies. There's a flashback scene in which a young Reginald Hargreeves sits at his wife's bedside while she lies there dying. It doesn't look like they are in his mansion, but some other palace-like place with flowing curtains and a round window. According to the comics, Reginald is actually an alien. So maybe we were seeing him in his home planet. So what if those little golden lights he releases from the jar are actually the Umbrella Academy children? Maybe they are migrating from his home planet to planet Earth in order to fulfill a mission. So could those spontaneous births be alien-induced pregnancies? We've got another theory that beats that one. Maybe the 6 siblings become fetuses inside women's bellies when they time jump. We know that 5 became significantly younger when he jumped back to the present time. Perhaps the 6 siblings have to keep jumping back in time to be reborn and try to stop the apocalypse from occurring. That would mean they went back 6 times to try and get it right. If you do the math, 6 siblings multiplied 6 times equals 36, which is the amount remaining from the original 43. And since Ben is already deceased, he would be able to jump through time to be reborn. So maybe those other 36 babies are Luther, Diego, Alison, Klaus, 5, and Vanya being reborn 6 times. That could be the reason Grace didn't give 5 a name. Maybe she's just keeping track of how many times he has been reborn. Now our heads are spinning. Time travel is confusing, you guys! Did Reginald cause the apocalypse? One Reddit user has a theory that it wasn't Vanya who was the true cause of the apocalypse. This user believes that Reginald Hargreeves set off a chain of events that eventually led to the destruction of the moon and the earth. If you think about it, Reginald is responsible for alienating Vanya from the rest of her siblings. He saw how strong and potentially catastrophic her powers were and decided it would be best if she believed she was ordinary. He told her repeatedly that she was not special. He wouldn't even let her get a matching umbrella tattoo with the rest of her brothers and sister. She wanted so badly to be included, so she drew her tattoo on using a marker. Poor Vanya. So if Reginald had been a more nurturing provider who taught Vanya restraint, would things have gone differently? Vanya has got some serious emotional heartache from her childhood that leads to her cataclysmic meltdown at the end of season 1. You can't help but wonder what she would have been capable of if she had grown up with a happy childhood and a loving father. Maybe she wouldn't have blown that chunk off the moon and destroyed her childhood home.
I lost control.
Vanya personality disorder. Some fans have speculated that Vanya has some sort of mental disassociation. One fan believes it might be borderline personality disorder, so maybe those pills were actually psychiatric medication prescribed to control her brainwaves. According to Mayo Clinic, borderline personality disorder is a mental health disorder that impacts the way a person thinks and feels about themselves and others. This disorder can cause problems with functioning in everyday life. There is usually a pattern of unstable, intense relationships. This certainly explains her hookup with Leonard Peabody. The disorder is also characterized by distorted self-image, extreme emotions, and impulsiveness. Vanya does struggle with all of those things in the show. Her powers seem to be connected to her emotions, so it makes sense that those pills would suppress her powers as they suppress her emotional outbursts. One fan went a step further in diagnosing Vanya. This fan believes she is a sociopath. he points out an interesting pattern from her childhood. Vanya's asked to eat oatmeal by Grace, or Mom, and soon sends her flying into a glass cabinet, but Mom stands up, fixes her busted neck, and asks again. Vanya doesn't seem to have any feelings about any of this. She just seems a little stunned when Grace stands up and fixes her neck. Good observation, Void Bearer. That's definitely some sociopathic behavior coming from little Vanya. Reginald theories. So if you follow the comic books, you'll know that Reginald's monocle allowed him to perceive certain things. So there's a good chance that when he looked at the moon, he saw that it was destined to explode. And maybe this planet has a connection with Earth, in that its survival is directly linked to Earth's existence. So when Vanya blows up the moon and subsequently the Earth, maybe Hargreeves' home planet is also doomed. So he could have sent Luther to the moon to collect data to learn what could keep it from exploding, although that theory doesn't really explain why all those packages from Luther were left unopened. Another awesome Reginald theory is that he is the one who started the commission. That seems like something Reginald would do, but one fan theory has our minds completely blown. Redditor Umikalu posted that Reginald is actually number 5. That would mean that number 5 is the one who started the commission. Maybe he is the one who created all those time travel suitcases. He could have somehow injected his powers into the suitcases when he started the commission. How did Ben die? Everyone is obsessed with the circumstances around Ben's death in the show. The comic book series hasn't revealed how Ben dies, so it remains one of the biggest Umbrella Academy mysteries. All we know is that it is really gruesome and it caused the breakup of the Academy. We know that he has the ability to channel monsters from other dimensions, so maybe he channeled a monster that overpowered him, resulting in his death. Another theory is that he took his own life. He seemed very tormented when he had to attack those bank robbers with those giant monster tentacles. Maybe it was too much for him. He could have perished in the apocalypse somehow. Whatever the reason, we hope it's revealed in Season 2. What are some of your best Umbrella Academy theories? Drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching The Things. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be the first to see our newest videos. We hope you liked this video, and if you did, please click the thumbs up button. See you next time!